The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
I hate to do this, but we all know Quinn Hughes is ready, and he confirmed that today. But is Elias Pettersson ready? I just read something. I don't know. Okay, you know what? Just let's just start the episode.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, happy hump day and welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks reporter for Daily Hive, Vancouver. Before we dive into the show, we got to thank you for tuning in. We're not here without you, and we're also not here without those sponsors. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. You can feel it now. September. It's got a little crisper out there. And we got a Quinn Hughes interview, courtesy of Ian McIntyre at Sportsnet, to get the balls tingling here, thinking about the Canucks in 2025-26. So I think there were a few good takeaways from this interview. Let's get into it on this episode of Locked On Canucks. And Kyle, one of the first ones for me is that Quinn Hughes, he's a freaking animal, man. And I was looking this up before we hopped on to see if it was reported out there, but we learned a little bit more about the injuries that Quinn Hughes had, that he was playing through for the Vancouver Canucks last year. And Kyle, it made me wonder, what's the worst injury that you've ever had?
Tendonitis. I mentioned this last year during the tendonitis report when we were trying to help Pettersson out and have his back while he was doing nothing. Like seriously, he was doing shit all. And we were trying to be positive, create a bit of a spirit bomb for him. And, I helped them out with the tendonitis report, educated the people of Vancouver that this is a real injury. In fact, it's one of the most non-deadly, deadly diseases of all time. All in all, I had that and it hurt. Now, Quinn Hughes, I'm surprised he mentioned, he alluded to some of the pain he went through last year because he just looks like the no excuse type of guy, feels like the no excuse type of guy. What an ultimate leader, what an ultimate captain. Reading that first thing in the morning, it did a couple things for me, okay? It made me excited for this season. It made me also think that it's more possible that the Canucks actually aren't on life support. Like, I wonder if he can do so much without JT Miller in that dressing room to start off a campaign and really set the tone. Like, maybe everyone in that room, because Miller's got a big personality, but he's not here in September anymore. Maybe everyone can just look at Hughes now and be like, you know what? What if we all just copy that guy? Kind of similar to what Dale Weiss was talking about with Henrik and Daniel and Kessler and Bieksa and Malhotra, okay? Like, what if we just not look at JT Miller as one of the leaders and only look at Quinn Hughes, okay? I'm excited for that because now there's more of that. And, now, and he confirmed it. He's ready. He's ready. He's mad. And Trevor, I asked you this on yesterday's episode, and, was it yesterday's episode or 2 days ago? Something about Quinn Hughes. What are the chances Quinn Hughes could be better this year? Because I'm like, I feel like there's a 90% chance he isn't because he doesn't need to be. He's like, if that's peak for the next 5-6 years, I'll take that. Whatever he did last year. That being said, I think you're right, man. And I think some people in the comments are saying it too. We may be witness here in Vancouver and, here in the NHL to the greatest defensive season of all time from a defenseman, or the greatest season from a defenseman of all time, for lack of a better term. Trevor, I'm so excited to have Quinn Hughes as a 32-and-a-half-year-old as my captain, okay? Well, I'm 32, but you know what I'm trying to say? I'm excited for the season. I feel like a kid. He's my favorite player of all time. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you know what? It's growing up for me, it was Todd Bertuzzi, then it was Alex Burrows, but it's hard to beat Quinn Hughes after seeing what he's brought to the Vancouver Canucks. And Kyle, I feel the same as you. I'm more excited about the season now after hearing Quinn Hughes talk. And a big part of it is the injury reveal, right? We knew he was dealing with a hand injury. We knew he was dealing with an oblique injury. We now learned, or at least I learned today, that he was dealing with a torn ligament in his hand. We also saw the brace that he was wearing while playing. And then he tore an oblique muscle as well in that game against the Dallas Stars after the day that JT Miller was traded. And this guy still almost played, reportedly, at the Four Nations despite, multiple torn muscles in his body. Like, what the hell, Quinn Hughes? He's a freaking animal, man.
Can I make a point here? Can I make a point here? Because I'm gonna forget it. 420 somewhere. you know how like people like me, Trevor, and I'm so thankful for you because you haven't RKO'd me through a table yet. You haven't, hit me with the brass knuckles with the steel chair yet because I'm missing JT Miller a lot, and I'm also loving Marcus Pettersson a lot. I'm all over the place. That being said, people like me are like miss JT Miller because we're kind of like, oh, if we make the playoffs, like, don't you need a guy like that? Don't you need a leader like that? Don't you need a tough guy like that, dude? Quinn Hughes is the toughest son of a gun on this team, and the fact that he's mentally tough too makes him tougher than JT Miller. Okay, so again, everything that you just said about him playing through that extent of injury and uh, maybe with all the distraction in the room last year and in years past, like again, the rest of the lineup, and this is including Elias Pettersson too, couldn't just pay attention solely on what Quinn Hughes is doing as a player, as a leader, as a captain. Like that's how you play the game. That's how you play the game in a Canadian market. That's how you get the job done. And everyone just got to have a little bit of Quinn Hughes in them. And I think it might be easier again this season based on this article, based on the facts. Obviously, the players all knew it. But again, based on this being like an ultimate fresh start for the Vancouver Canucks.
Well, yeah, I think one of the quotes that stood out to me in this interview, Kyle, was the fact that Quinn Hughes said last year wasn't fun, which isn't a surprise. I mean, look at what they dealt with. Look at the injuries that he was dealing with. But it does make you think that if Quinn Hughes is out there and he's healthy and he's having fun, this could be a new and improved version of Quinn Hughes, right? And we all know from 2 seasons ago when he improved the shot, learning under Adam Foote, now as head coach. We'll get into a bit about Adam Foote later in this conversation here on Locked On Canucks. But again, I came away from this article, this interview with Eden McIntyre, just being more excited for the season because, man, we all saw that he was still one of the best defensemen in the league down the stretch, but wasn't quite his number one dominant self. He wasn't quite the best defenseman in the NHL, right? Like, Cale Makar was better later on in the season there, but still, Quinn Hughes put up spectacular numbers last year, dealt with 3 injuries, didn't mention the groin strain, which was the 3rd injury he had. So, really all throughout his body, right? Torn ligament in his hand, torn oblique muscle, and then finally a groin strain at the end of the year. And, didn't complain once, right? We're only learning about this, again, at least I'm learning about this now here in September. So, again, like it sounds like he's got a clean bill of health, and it sounds like he's going to push the rest of his teammates too, right? Like he's over these 3 injuries, and he talked about just not only just being ready for training camp, but he's going to push guys at the skate test even before training camp, see what everyone's made of on this team, Kyle.
Yeah. And again, this is, I think some of us frown at the fact that Quinn Hughes has 2 brothers because those 2 brothers happen to play on the same team in the NHL, like not on a beer league team, but like actually an NHL team. So we're all scared of losing him. But we're so blessed that he has that in his life because every summer it's safe to say outside of like maybe McKinnon and Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and that's like the best company to have. Like he's training the hardest. He's training the most efficient because he's around dogs, like hyperbolic time chamber, Dragon Ball Z-ish, right? Goku Vegeta-ish, like Piccolo. You know what I'm trying to say? Like he's with elite players all the time, and they're figuring out ways to get better. And you know what's crazy when I read this article? What really stood out? The fact that he's only 25 years old now. He's probably turning 26 this year, but just like reading that made me so happy. Oh, he's only 25 because that leads me to believe this. And again, confirm it. Quinn Hughes is about to be way better than he was last year. Now, Trevor alluded to the fact he was really hurt. And in his last 15 games, he was not like his play dropped off a cliff and he was just dealing with everything, whether it be injuries or just, being so desperate to get this team in the playoffs or having to do everything. Like if you even go back to, and I don't know that this is post JT Miller trade, like the fact that Quinn Hughes was dealing with all those injuries and put on that type of performance in the 3rd period against the New York Rangers. Watch that. Watch what he did in that period. Like we're talking about not the best Canuck of all time. Not just that. Again, one of the greatest players of all time. He's 25. He's hungry. And yeah, he's a leader. He's trying to push everyone. And Trevor, what's the last sentence of that article? Sorry, Ian McIntyre. We're losing you some ad money here. We're spilling the tea here, okay? With that being said, I will say this. If you're listening to this episode or watching this, click the link in the bio and read the article. Save your brain. But yeah, Trevor, his last sentence was like, I don't know if I'm paraphrasing just a bit. It's like I don't know if everyone else is ready, but I am.
Yeah. Yeah, the last sentence here of the article, hopefully everyone has trained as hard. Hopefully everyone has trained hard and is ready to go. I know I am. And I do want to talk about a little bit later about, maybe some of the subtle shots of Elias Pettersson in this article.
Okay,
But
very
okay, all right,
No,
all
honestly,
right,
no,
all
can I
right,
say
all right.
something? I know we have to get the break. Trying to do things differently here, but I will say this because you're about to go in, and I was mad at you when I was driving to work today. I'm like, yo, Trevor, can you shut up? Come on. Yesterday I was dark. I'm trying to what's the Beatles song? Walk on the Golden Bridge, stroll down the yellow bridge, do cartwheels on the yellow. What's that? Yellow road? The long yellow
Yep.
road?
There's the Yellow Brick Road from Elton John, and then there's Yellow Submarine from the Beatles. Wait,
Okay,
where are you
great.
going with this? Yellow Brick Road?
Okay, Yellow Brick Road. I was trying to walk down that thing today, but you stopped me with your. I think Quinn Hughes is talking about Elias Pettersson. Dude, I will say this. I read Thomas Drance's article today about the Ford Group on the Athletic. Go read it too. It's a good article. And he mentioned how like the fans are ready for like the revenge tour, but the organization, and I'm paraphrasing just a bit, but not that much. He said that the organization, like, they understand that Pettersson may need time, like may need games to get to that point where he can flip the switch. And to me, it's like, I don't want that. He's got to be ready at game one because Quinn Hughes is ready, and you're getting paid 11.6, and this team needs leadership from its best players. Like, we need the ultimate flip switch, the ultimate character turn from Elias Pettersson starting, like, it should have started in July. You know what I'm saying? So maybe the organization thinks he needs some games, and maybe they'll be patient. But I'm telling you, the fan base, or just maybe I'm talking to myself, that's not good enough to me. Okay? For real. This is a big year for the Vancouver Canucks, a big year for Quinn Hughes. You got a guy risking his, like, playing through so many injuries, just to finish 8th place. Try to finish 8th place last year. And you're not going to be ready in October? Like, no. I don't want to wait till November. Elias Pettersson got to be the alien right now.
Yeah, and you talk about, Pettersson potentially having a slow start and how that's not good enough for you. I don't think it's good enough for Quinn Hughes either. But let's talk more about Hughes' comments on Pettersson, because he did talk about PD, and he had some interesting quotes about Adam Foote too. Let's get to that coming up here on Locked On Canucks. All right, before we get back to the show, let's shout out our friends over at it's Monarch Money, baby. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. Kyle, we're professional podcasters, man. We can't afford to be leaving money on the table, okay? But that's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch, it's built for people with busy lives like Kyle Bowen, eating bananas, making pistachio smoothies, going to the gym, editing podcasts, boom, bam. Monarch, it's for people
being
like
a good
Kyle.
Being a good boyfriend. Put that in there too, man.
Yep, true.
Yep, there you go.
That's a full-time job. That's the toughest job of all sometimes, man.
Yep, it is.
So Monarch's for busy people like Kyle and for busy people like you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization for your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off of your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNHL.
People, we back doing this, talking about your Vancouver Canucks. It's September, which means it's already April, okay? AKA, I'm anxious. I'm nervous for the season. I don't know what to expect, but I do know Quinn Hughes is, again, the greatest Canuck of all time. I think he confirmed that today with that article with Ian McIntyre. Like, honestly, I'm going to read that article every day. I don't need no David Goggins anymore. I don't need no self-help, Phil Knight stuff. I just need Quinn Hughes. I also need the comments from you and you and you and you, because, this is the show with the people, man. Me and Trevor, we just fans like you. So, we're all podcasters. We're all Locked On Canucks. No, that's what I meant to say. Okay, Zach is saying, dude, Zach, flexing in the YouTube. Look at that. Trevor, man, go to the gym, dude. Zach is flexing for the youth. Yo, you got to warn us, bro. Anyways, I think people are underestimating how much being a captain means to Quinn Hughes. I would genuinely be surprised if he left, if the season went our way. And yeah, Quinn Hughes is a hockey nerd. I think he understands hockey legacy. Yeah, no, this guy loves being a captain, and I feel like he doesn't want to downgrade from that position. Like, I don't know I think he wants to win ultimately, but I think he takes a lot of pride in being the best player on a team, and the most important player on a team. Like that, again, there's something special with that guy. And maybe that's the reason why he gets so much better year in and year out, because he literally wants to be the best. Like, he'll never say it because the guy was raised well and he's like, his humility is off the charts. But there's a what does Stephen A. Smith say about Aaron Rodgers back in the day? He's a bad man. Yeah, Quinn Hughes is a bad man. The guy's a gamer.
And I think that was the main takeaway from this article in terms of, how Ian McIntyre framed it, how other outlets have picked it up, is Quinn Hughes has not made up his mind on where he wants to play in his future. And I think that has Canuck fans going like, oh shit, here we go. He hasn't made up his mind. What's going to happen? Oh my God.
Yeah.
But really, I think that's the obvious answer. I think Quinn Hughes, give him credit, he's a smart guy. He's always been honest with the media. And it makes sense that he hasn't made up his mind yet. Like you said in the interview, he's not even eligible for an extension until next year. And of course, we talked about in yesterday's episode. Go check that one out. The other Hughes brothers might not be sure what they want to do either, right? With reports that Luke might want to line up his contract with Jax and all hit unrestricted free agency together. So there's so many variables right now. I mean, when I read that, he hasn't made up his mind on his future, I think that's just, kudos to Quinn for being honest. And again, it ties back into how last year wasn't fun. Last year wasn't fun in Vancouver for a multitude of reasons, all the drama, all the injuries, the fact they missed the playoffs. He's got to go out there and have some fun in Vancouver again. And again, a lot went wrong for this team last year. Even if half of it goes right, I still think this team's a playoff team, despite some of the flaws. Now, of course, a lot of that hinges on Elias Pettersson. And well, I won't go too dark right now, but he did have some quotes about PD. And I'll read what Quinn Hughes said about PD here. He said, quote, I've been PD's biggest supporter through everything. When I was a rookie and he was a sophomore, we were kind of similar guys in that we were both on the quiet side, reserved, but we both loved hockey. And we were both smaller guys growing up and had to find a way to be good. And I think that was through our hockey sense and the way we saw the game. As far as PD, I mean, we need him. You don't get to the level PD was at without having extreme dedication and focus and some things inside you. I've seen it from him, and I think he's going to be great. I think he's happy. I think he's had a great summer, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. Do I think he's going to have a better year? Yeah, because he's a really good player. But it's going to be up to him about how good a year he has.
Yeah. I think he had a good summer. He didn't mention the wedding. Was Quinn Hughes invited to the wedding? Can you find that on day one of your Daily Hive printing camp extravaganza? Were you invited to Elias Pettersson's wedding?
Yeah, who on the Canucks was invited to Elias Pettersson's wedding?
No. You know what? We're not okay. You know what? My girlfriend would be disappointed in me if she was to listen to this podcast, and that's what we were talking about, man. Okay, we gotta grow up. Okay, it's sports. Okay, stay focused, Trevor. You're about to enter the TMZ world. I need you to stay focused. Okay, Trevor, Mr. TMZ over here. I don't know what to say. Okay,
you know Daily Hive, man. So my bad.
Okay, so I don't know. Two Canucks fans talking here. Okay. And if in the comments, let me know if I'm being immature. But did you want to hear more from Quinn Hughes on Pettersson? Like more of a cosign? Because I still, and again, this draws back to like what the organizations may be thinking about Pettersson's start to the season and how he may need, a couple of games to get started or, whatever it is, right? Like he may need some time. And then now hearing Quinn Hughes again, he knows. He's saying that like Pettersson can do it, but he's also pretty much saying that like, it's up there. There's like not some uncertainty there, but it's not like the ultimate cosign. Like, don't you wish you heard like, yeah, I was training with Elias this summer. This guy's folk, like something, you know what I'm saying? Always reminded me of his own old self. Like, I don't know. It's like they didn't even hang out this summer or something. I don't know why like Trevor, I wish Elias Pettersson just like stayed in Detroit for a couple months and like these two could just like, be ultimate warriors together. But I feel like Pettersson doesn't even know. I mean, sorry, Quinn Hughes doesn't even know. I wish we got a cosign, an ultimate cosign, Trevor.
Yeah, I mean, I respect Quinn Hughes' honesty in this interview. And look, it's not, I would say on most teams, it's not like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl where you're at each other's weddings and you're the best man or groomsman or whatever it is, right? It's not always the case, right? There are winning teams where maybe dudes aren't the best friends or hang out a lot, but they still go out together and make magic, right? Like, you look at Nathan McKinnon in the offseason, it's not like he's hanging out with Cale Makar every day.
True.
Like the case. So I appreciate the honesty. I think Quinn Hughes, he's kind of like us, like with a bit more of an insider knowledge, of course, but talks about how he believes in PD for X, Y, and Z, the reasons he listed, the fact that he still thinks he can be a great player. But like all of us, he's not quite sure, because what happened to Pettersson last season was pretty goddamn bizarre. And when he talks about the fitness testing, and he mentioned the interview helping guys with the pressure, I think he's there to help Pettersson. But at the end of the day, Pettersson controls his own destiny, not Quinn Hughes.
Okay. But don't you think it would be cool if like Pettersson and Hughes, again, this is getting so high schoolish, but like they hung out more so Pettersson could like learn how to block out noise and stuff and be more stoic and just like understand that the media and the fans, I mean, we matter, but not like, we shouldn't matter that much, that it gets in the way of like your love and your passion and the want to be the best. Like there's roles to this, right? Like the seniority level, like the hockey player, the NHL player, like even though we're all connected with the fans and the media, and now speaking on the hockey players' behalf, like, dude, we're way down the totem pole, I think that, and that's why I think Quinn Hughes understands he can block out the noise. It's not real. Like it's real, but it's not real. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, you hold all the cards. Winning fixes everything. Don't let the noise get to you. And just all in all, I just wish that like some of that Quinn Hughes, whether it be like his off-season regimen or just like the fact that this guy reads books and like he just like he's not on his phone, like he understands the real world and like how to get through expectation or whatnot. And again, it's about living in reality. I wish that like Pettersson could just be around that, because again, just by reading what he's been saying and just by following his career and how like obvious he's stoic and doesn't let ish get to him and how nonchalant he is, but how serious he is with his preparation and whatnot. It's like, yo, this guy is I know we haven't seen it with the wins, and ultimately he's going to be graded on that, but he seems like the ultimate leader. Like he seems, and I hope he's better than Henrik and Daniel, because I want him to win the cup and, get that playoff success, but he seems like that, super duper serious. And sometimes and again, not as emotional. And I want Pettersson to, just learn from that. And again, maybe it's easier for him to do so because Miller's not there anymore and it's a fresh start. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, to your point, it's like, as Canucks fans, you want to just believe these guys are best buds and hanging out all the time. But I think it's really important to just decompress and be around your friends and your family, and not necessarily the guys that you have to work with for 9-10 months of the year, if we're looking optimistically at where the Canucks might be next season. All right, Kyle, let's cut to break here. On the other side, I want to talk about how Quinn Hughes told Adam Foote to stop calling him what? That's coming up next year on Locked On Canucks. All right, before we get back to the program, we got to shout out our friends over at FanDuel. Kyle, man, oh man, not only am I excited about hockey season coming back, but NFL season's almost here. Done the fantasy drafts. Week 1 starts tomorrow, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get not one, not two, but $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Kyle, I'm looking at our favorite teams heading into week 1 here. Your Green Bay Packers, 2.5-point favorites at home over the Detroit Lions. Kyle, what's going on, man? Why are the Packers favored in this game?
There's just a lot of hype, and I think they're a good team, but I'm just happy that we're going to be contenders for the next 4 years. Like I don't know, you know what? Here's the thing, Trevor. The Packers are sexy right now, but I've been following them for a long time, so I'm giving you some betting advice on FanDuel. I don't know if they're going to win the Super Bowl this year. They have a lot of, they need to have more experience. They need to learn how to do it in the clutch. Like, there's still, for the youngest team in the NFL, there's still a lot of room to grow. And also, Trevor, did you know they have a wide receiver playing cornerback this year? Like, their defense got Micah Parsons, but their cornerbacks are arguably some of the worst in football. So, just FanDuel, Packers, connect the knowledge, okay?
You heard it here from Kyle first. Make sure you pick the underdog Detroit Lions.
Oh, well, hey, hold
Green Bay Packers in week 1. Whatever bets you're placing, make sure you go place them on FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
Okay. We back talking about your Canucks, Kyle Bound, Trevor Beggs, second best dad in the world. Before we read the comments, Trevor, man, how you doing? How's life? Second day of kindergarten for your family. I feel like it's just not your daughter going through this. It's the family thing. Did you cry today?
I did not cry today, no. At least not that I'm willing to publicly admit.
Okay.
But yeah, second day of school for my daughter starting kindergarten, came out wearing this beautiful crown, had some French words on. I didn't know what they were, so I really need to brush up on my French now that my daughter's in French immersion. Still not sure why I did that, but I feel like it was a good decision. And yeah, second day of school for me, aka my second day on the job at Daily Hive. I'll be writing a specific angle on this Quinn Hughes interview, and it might even be about the guy we're about to talk about next, which is Adam Foote. And I think one of the funniest things to come out of this article was the fact that Quinn Hughes told Adam Foote to stop calling him. And I'm trying to pull up the quote right now, but basically Foote, Quinn Hughes was saying that Foote was so eager to grow relationships with the players that Quinn Hughes needed to tell his head coach that he wouldn't be answering the phone for a couple of weeks. And Quinn Hughes said, quote, "If I didn't tell him that, he'd have been on the phone with me every 4 or 5 days." And then he goes on to say he's really great at communicating and no one's more excited for the season than him. Now, I think I might be more excited for the season because, I'm full-time now. I get to be in that locker room, get to be in the stands. But in terms of the guys in that organization, it was nice to hear that, Adam Foote is, his balls are tingling so hard that he can't stop calling Quinn Hughes. I mean, it was kind of funny that Quinn Hughes did tell him to stop calling him. But I'm excited to hear that, man, because I think there's a lot of uncertainty around Adam Foote. But I'm starting to believe now that, maybe no one's going to be more prepared than Adam Foote heading into the season.
Okay. I don't know about that. Because again, we're talking about Quinn Hughes being a big part of this organization too. Like nobody's going to be more prepared than Quinn Hughes. Now, Adam Foote, he could be prepared. He could be over prepared. Maybe he didn't prepare the right way. It's his first time coaching this team. This is like a hard job to have, for real. A head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, like moving on from the defensive position only. On that note, though, I think, and again, we've prefaced this for so long, and it's something I want to hold on to more for the rest of the summer because I already see myself like being a little bit pessimistic because I'm getting anxious. Okay. It's like, I don't know what's going on, Trevor. Maybe we need to hug. Okay. We need to go out for a beer and hug. Okay. Because I'm starting to be like, oh my God, what's going to happen with this year with this team? Like, I don't know. Where's JT? I'm being an idiot. That being said, for weeks, we've been loving the D. We've been talking about this D core and Adam Foote, has already connected with all those guys. Right. So he's still around. And I remember there was times last year before Rick Tocchet left. This is like when it was like game 70 where, on this program, and this is when it's an emotional program. Dude, I was kind of excited for, Adam Foote possibly being the replacement because of how good of a job he's done. And, Quinn Hughes, yeah, he trains with the Hughes brothers and he's stoic and he's an ultimate leader, an ultimate competitor, and he's going to get better year in and year out. But dude, give credit where credit is due. Not only does Filip Hronek deserve a lot of love when it comes to Quinn Hughes' improvement, but it is Adam Foote helping him along the way. And since there's that connection and an obvious connection between Quinn Hughes and Adam Foote, an obvious co-sign from Quinn Hughes last year on Amazon Hockey, talking about how Adam Foote's his best coach ever, right? Since there's an advantage or a bit of a head start I'm going to guarantee, like the Canucks D-core is going to be perfect from the jump. Like I feel it, especially after this article and like Quinn Hughes' leadership improvements and like, again, this energy around the D-core and Adam Foote and Kevin Dean, like, dude, right away, that D-core is going to be able to lead this team to some extent. Especially in October and November, with or without Pettersson, at the Canucks, I think they're going to be like well above water because they got one of the best players in the league and he's in charge of that D-core with Adam Foote. Like, yeah, you got to be excited. It's going to be cool to watch.
Man, I love it when you get excited about the decal, man. It's so many reasons to be excited about that D.
Yep. And Trevor, I want again after reading this article, talking about the leadership and all that. Like how I don't know if exciting or is the right word, but do you feel like Quinn Hughes is going to take it upon himself to connect to Tom Willander, Valentino Martini Mancini, and Elias Pettersson this training camp? Because again, based on his energy and Adam Foote and the D-core, like I keep guaranteeing it, and it might sound stupid for saying this, but I'm like, one of those guys is going to become a top 4 fixture this year.
I honestly, I 100% believe he's going to take those guys under his wing because I think one of the things he talked about in this piece was the fact that he is one of the leaders on this team and, that he's going to go out of his way to help other guys out. He specifically referenced blocking out the noise, but I do think that applies to a lesser extent to some of the rookies too. Like, sure, there's less pressure, but specifically for a guy like Tom Willander, I think there's some pretty pretty high expectations for him. I think that's fair to say, right? We keep saying that this guy, compares favorably to Brock Faber. I've mentioned Mike Matheson as an example too. That's obviously his career started over a decade ago now. But there's expectations on Tom Melander, and we don't even know if he's going to make this team yet, Kyle. But if he does make this team, there's going to be eyes on him, and I think Quinn Hughes is absolutely going to be a reference for those guys. And Quinn Hughes can relate to Tom Melander in the sense that they don't have stylistically similar games, but both high draft picks, both came to the city with expectations, and Quinn Hughes obviously knocked out of the park, but he still had to deal with those expectations. So I think he's absolutely going to be a reference for those guys. And yeah, I don't know if there's a better teammate for guys like Tom Melander and DPD than a guy like Quinn Hughes.
There isn't. And like, just, again, like being a young guy, and we saw Archer Shilov's not being able to handle this as a young guy at the start of last season. Okay, training camp, high pressure situation. Your dreams are about to come true, and you walk into that locker room, and Elias Pettersson and JT Miller, the leaders from the outside. If you're not close into that room, and you're just walking into the room, and you just saw the Canucks take the Oilers to 7 games, you're almost prepared for those two to like lead the way. But there they are, being divas, being emotional, not following the lead of Quinn Hughes, but getting in their own way, not thinking hockey first, taking things personal. Again, being divas, it kind of knocks off the mojo, and that's not there this year, right? So guys like Willander and Elias Pettersson, again, no JT Miller in the room. And again, you want Elias Pettersson to be a better leader, and he's a quiet guy, but you do want more from him because it can't just all be Quinn Hughes. That being said, I think it's a beautiful thing and an efficient thing for those guys to be back there and only having to look at Quinn Hughes and not allow JT Miller. You know what I'm trying to say? And they all play the same position, and it's like, yo, something is going to happen there. And I brought this up too, not to be like super concerning. Again, I've been positive here. The Canucks aren't on life support because Quinn Hughes is going to pull off a miracle here. But I think it's just so important for Tom Melander to get a great look here in that room around Adam Foote, around Quinn Hughes, while Quinn Hughes is still here. Emphasis on that, because we don't know what the future holds, Trevor. Like, seriously. And you want players, especially your young guys, to learn from a guy like Quinn.
100%. And I do hope Quinn maybe learns from some of the other leaders in this organization too. And that leads me to one more comment here as we wrap up on Locked On Canucks. Dan Jardine, shout out to the commenters, especially the everydayers like Jan Jardine, Mother Knucker, and everyone else who's commented on the show. Dan Jardine saying Quinn is a quiet, stoic leader, kind of the opposite of JT. And yeah, that's obviously the case. But I do hope that Quinn Hughes does take some elements of other quiet, stoic leaders that this organization has seen, and specifically Henrik and Daniel Sedin. And we talked about it yesterday. Dale Weiss brought up on the Slang and the Biscuit podcast how the Sedins were the ones always organizing team events. Like, okay, guys, on the bus 50 minutes. Let's go get dinner. Let's go get drinks. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
And Quinn Hughes in this article mentioned how, two guys in Connor Garland and Brock Besser, two of his best buddies in the world, are now locked up long term. And, maybe it's not Petey and Quinn organizing this stuff, but if it's like Quinn and Garland and Besser, just a core group of guys who can bring the team together, go out, have some fun, because a team that's actually a team and not just a group of individuals, that's the guys who are going to have the most success. And Quinn Hughes knows. He referenced it in this article. But I hope the Canucks, under Quinn Hughes' leadership and whoever he wants to bring in with that, they can galvanize this team because, again, like you said, they're not the most skilled group in the NHL, but that doesn't mean you can't play like a team player and have some success. There is a path here for the Canucks to have some success, but they absolutely need to be together and gel as a team.
Yeah, and the path for ultimate success, because again, I don't want to mention that part of the article. Again, Ian McIntyre, we're sorry, we just leaked everything. Quinn Hughes, alluding to this not being the most skilled team in the world. But, if they can just get Pettersson back and have a quieter team when it comes to the drama, and guys like Marcus Pettersson, Brock Besser, Connor Garland, they just build a different leadership environment where they feel like a team, because Quinn Hughes put an emphasis on that. They want to be a team. They want to go out for dinners. Everything that Aaron Ekblad said after the Florida Panthers won the cup, everyone took notes. That's how you win. They want to get to that. Boom, bam. So if the Canucks can win some games, become a team, be a feel-good place to be. And again, this year might not be your year, but we win some games. We have success. Pettersson's back. And then you look forward to next year. Look at the free agency class. Look at Braden Coots. And then you can kind of you know what I'm trying to say, Trevor? Then it's okay, we got the best player in the league. Elias Pettersson's back. Our goaltending is elite. We're contenders again. So it is what it is, man. Trevor, that was a good one, man. I'm glad we didn't get super, super dark. Honestly, that was a good one. I didn't know what today's was going to go. And yeah, man, I just want to say I'm super grateful to have, I was going to say you as a friend, but I'm going to switch that to Quinn Hughes as my captain.
Yeah, if you could choose between the two, even if I had to choose between the two, I would choose Quinn Hughes as my captain too. Okay. No offense to you, buddy. And especially no offense to you for tuning in here on Locked On Canucks, because we appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in, making us part of your day. Hopefully you'll continue to make us part of our day here on Locked On Canucks. If you like what we're doing, make sure you go like and subscribe on YouTube on the podcast side. Go follow us. Leave a 5-star review. We'd love if you share the episode with a friend. But hey, we'll be back tomorrow here on Locked On Canucks.
Peace, peace, peace.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.